Hey, I'm Kyle Windjack, and this trailer is my mobile recording studio. I've been a professional session musician for my entire adult life, and during the pandemic, I decided to leave Toronto to find something new, and I went out to Victoria, BC, fell in love with it, but I also kind of missed the city, and I knew that I wanted to have a recording studio wherever I went, so I figured I'd just take it with me, and this was the solution I found for that. It's a 32-foot travel trailer, and I'm towing it with a Chevy 2500 diesel Duramax 2010. It's actually in the shop right now, so I can't show it to you, but it's a normal truck. It's nice, but it's just a truck. Welcome. So right in here we've got a little bit of a living space and a kitchen, and this section is also sort of the control room for when I'm recording. This is my desk here, obviously, and I've got these small but mighty Neumann KH80s. These monitors are really awesome. So we've got a gas stove here and a gas oven. I'm not sure if I have the propane on. I think I do. Yes, I do. There we go. And the oven's pretty small, but it works. And then kind of just got your regular kitchen drawers and stuff, right? And the pantry swivels out here. And then I also have more food up there. I have to kind of put the some of the heavier items on like these bottom shelves here, so that these shelves aren't the strongest. I've already broken one, but I'm thinking of reinforcing them so that I can put whatever I want. I think really what it was is during the pandemic I left Toronto because all of my gigs there were gone, so I figured there was no need to stay. So I went to Victoria for 3 months, like everyone does, and I stayed a year. I fell in love with it, but I also I missed the sort of like energy of the city, because if you go to a place like Victoria, it's really beautiful and everybody's really nice and friendly, but there's not as much going on, and there's not as much that's like pushing you. I think it's a very healing kind of place to be. Yeah, I think that I need both. So I wanted to be able to take my setup with me and to not have to like uproot it every time, because it takes a long time, I find, when you go to a new space to kind of settle into it. And I'm still settling into this one, but once I do, I can take it wherever I want. If I went with a motorhome that was with like the towing vehicle built in, if something happens to that vehicle, I'm also out of a living space, and I kind of wanted to keep them separated so that hopefully this trailer will last longer than a truck, right? And then if I have to replace the truck or work on the truck, like I can do that. I wanted to be able to unhitch it when I'm going into busy areas, just because it's it's not always practical to be towing around a big trailer behind you if you're in a busy downtown area. I've done it before. It's kind of fun, but it's also stressful. And yeah. The water system is still just the stock system that came with the RV. I am planning on upgrading the water, like the freshwater tank and the gray water tank, and then possibly doing a composting toilet. I might even just get like a portable like removable composting toilet, so that like when I'm in the city and I have access to like dumping stations and stuff more regularly, then I can still use the sewage system that's built in. But if I want to go off grid for longer periods, then I'll be able to do that more easily, and then I can carry more fresh water in the truck and stuff too. So the fridge can be powered with gas or propane, which is kind of nice. So if I'm running low on battery, there's nothing in the freezer right now really, but if I'm running low on battery, I can use propane to conserve that energy, or if it's nice and bright and sunny, then I don't have to burn any fuel. So under here is where I keep all of my microphones and light. This light is actually really great for recording music, because not only does it look great, but it's gel cooled, so it's silent. So if I want to get it like like up close to to somebody performing something like soft and delicate, it's not going to pick it up in the mics at all, right? And then this microphone here is just your classic SM7B. You see a lot of people using it on podcasts and stuff, but it's great. It's just a great microphone for the price point. Also, it rejects a lot of noise. So if you are in a noisy area, I mean, right now we have all the windows open and stuff, so there's going to be a bit more background noise than usual, but this microphone isn't going to pick up a lot of the ambient sound that's going around outside. I've got a lot of microphones, so I won't show you all of them, but these are a couple of my favorites. This is the Mojave 301 FET, and it's just a gorgeous sounding microphone, really. So that's kind of what I use. I would say that's the microphone I use the most, especially for vocals. And then this is a pair of 101 FETs, also from Mojave, so this is really good for setting up a stereo pair and recording that way. Great on acoustic guitars, drum overheads, stuff like that. I have like a pretty versatile kind of palette, I would say. Like as a session musician, I spent about a decade playing mostly trumpet professionally in Toronto, and especially as a horn player, you end up playing a ton of different styles of music because there's just not as many of them, right? So like somebody will hire you, like, I need a trumpet player. Do you play Balkan music? And I'm like, no, but I can learn. And they're like, great, because there's not like, if you're looking for like a guitarist or a drummer, there's so many that there's usually like a specialist in each of those styles. But I found myself in this unique position where I was playing a lot of jazz and a lot of funk, and a lot of hip hop and R&B and folk music and like all like reggae, all these different kind of styles. And I would say that like I specialize in jazz and like jazz related musics, but I can kind of do a little bit of all of it because I just was lucky enough to kind of get experience from playing with all these different acts. I didn't want to have to start from scratch because things were opening up, and I wanted to like get out there and do some recording and get to the places that I needed to be, because I had been kind of out of the industry because it was shut down basically. And I had this idea. I wanted something that wasn't going to be like a year of renovations before I could start using it professionally. I figured having something that was like already kind of halfway there would be a good. So the trailer itself cost me around $30,000 Canadian, and the truck that I have, it cost about $17,000, but I'm actually having to do $2,000 to $3,000 of work on it now, and then obviously the fuel is just crazy right now. So there are a lot of like hidden expenses as well. Like I've spent easily over $1,000 in tools in the last couple of months, and then a couple thousand more in like just raw materials for renovations and repairs, and about, I would say, I think it's around $7,000 now for the solar, including all of the like the hardware and stuff to actually install it. So this is the bedroom, but this is actually to be honest, this is one of the comfiest beds I've ever slept on, which I wasn't expecting when I bought this. Who'd have thought? RV bed, 10 out of 10. And 11 out of 10 is store a bunch of shit under here. So the storage goes all the way back to the head of the bed and also out to the sides. But you can access the stuff at the sides pretty easily because there's panels on the exterior that you can open and just grab whatever you need. To be honest, I've never used this TV. I probably will someday, but it does work. I just don't really watch much TV. I think the previous owner replaced the TV with something a little bit bigger because it's supposed to be able to swivel into the bedroom, but it gets caught up. So it still can swivel. I would just have to like grab a drill and like take it off the mount and then swivel it around and put it back on. So it wouldn't be that hard. But yeah, maybe we'll watch a movie one of these days. So this is the bathroom. I'm drying my, oh, it fell. Oh no. My motorcycle jacket because I was riding yesterday and it was really rainy. I had it hung up on a hook and yeah, that didn't fare well. So we'll deal with that later. But there's a skylight in there. Yeah, it's a full shower and a bath. You can take a look. Just ignore the motorcycle jacket. Yeah, it's just the stock RV toilet and there's like a foot lever there that you press and it flushes it. You know, kind of your standard medicine cabinet type thing behind the mirror. I wanted to find a way that I could have my space and also be where I want to be. I love recording and I love playing music. It's what I've done professionally my whole life. And I guess I just got a little bit tired of being in one city, even though I love Toronto and I love Victoria too. I found that they both offered me like very different things, and I wanted to be able to kind of move between different places and explore, but while still having like this, basically. And I think it's like an enticing idea for we can go anywhere we want to create music, and it can be off grid, and like that's such a creative, like a creatively inspiring thing to, you know, either for my own personal stuff or to, if I'm working with an artist, to be able to take them to, you know, like some beautiful location in the woods somewhere in BC or wherever. Like I can go anywhere and record music. It seemed like the dream, so I made it come true. I think just being able to see more places and I've learned a lot too, just I guess in a lot of ways, but in terms of like learning how to fix more things and just become handy, because there's always like little things breaking and you just got to figure it out. Yeah, right here you've got your thermostat. You can set it to fan where it's just blowing whatever the room temperature air is, or you can set a temperature to cool it to, or you can kick on the furnace all right there. Right here we've got the solar setup so that I'm able to record off grid. We can you know, go to the many beautiful scenes out in BC and record in the woods, because who doesn't want to do that, right? So I've got two 170 amp hour lithium ion batteries at the bottom, and then on the roof I've got two 340 watt panels, and this is a 50 amp charge controller from Victron, and then I've got a 3000 watt inverter also from Victron. So yeah, it's a pretty good setup here. Yeah, okay, so you're probably wondering what these are, and I don't know if you can hear the difference on the microphone when you come in here. I've built like a ton of these acoustic panels. So what these do is when a sound wave hits these, it gets absorbed and it doesn't bounce back. And when you're recording, it makes it a lot easier to control the sound, because you don't have like reflections and weird like frequency buildups and stuff like that. So this room is kind of still a work in progress, because back here there is there's like an outdoor kitchen area here with a fridge and like a mini bar and stuff. But I mean, that sounds cool, and it is. I'm gonna rip it out though to make more room here, because you know, I want to be able to have as much space for recording as possible. And then these frames here will be kind of built into a like a second frame that I'm building on the existing studs, and then I'll mount these to that. I mean, you still can record out here, but this is kind of like the tracking room, and then that would be the recording room. One day I would like to put even like a glass soundproof sliding door. They're quite expensive, so that'll be maybe a next year thing. But in the meantime, I'll probably just put some like really heavy acoustic blankets over the door to kind of isolate the sound a little bit more. Yeah, the big thing though is just taking care of the reflections of the room. Like, even though these panels aren't like set up all over the room yet, as soon as you walk in here, you can kind of hear that it's a little bit more like dead sounding. So it just makes it a lot easier to mix. There's been a lot of challenges. I've like, this is a new venture for me. I've only done one EP in here before, but it was a blast. We did it in this place called Newstead, Ontario, and yeah, it was just so much fun. I would say one of the main challenges is finding ways to secure all of the gear for travel in a way where I don't have to like completely tear everything down and then set it up when I get there. And I'm still in that process. Like, slowly I'm finding ways to be able to leave more things in place, but eventually I would like to be able to just roll up to wherever we're recording and just plug in and play. Some of the challenges are also kind of the things that make it intriguing. There's just always unexpected things coming up, and it can be really difficult to deal with those. But I mean, if you're out there on the road, you just kind of have to find a way to figure it out, and it can be stressful at times, but I think that's kind of what makes it a rewarding experience in part. So we've got just some drawers here, some cupboard space, and beer fridge. That's pretty sweet. And then, honestly, I haven't really been using that very much, but what I do use all the time is swing out bar. I'll use this area for prep sometimes. Set up the grill like that, and then hook up propane, and away you go. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah, this is gonna have to go to make room for more tracking space, but this is definitely staying. Oh, another cool thing is we have these stabilizer jacks. So you put them down, and it kind of it won't level it, but it'll take away the bounce. So especially if I'm like playing drums or something inside, you want like a nice stable floor, so that when you're like shifting your weight around, it's not moving the trailer at all. So this is the propane pilot light in like the back of the fridge and everything. And then this is the same thing for the water heater. If you're thinking about doing something like this, or even if it's unrelated to this, but it's some sort of like idea or dream that you have that you think would be cool, but it's not the right time, it will never be the right time. So I think there is a balance of like trying to make sure that you're figuring stuff out as much as you can before you do it, and doing your research and doing your homework. But there comes a point where you just have to commit to it and just do something every day that will get you closer to that. Like, I decided to do this, and I spent maybe 4 to 6 months researching before I even bought a truck or a trailer. And then after that, there's a lot more stuff that went into it, that a lot of it I didn't anticipate, and some of it I couldn't have anticipated. But if you want to do something, I think you just have to learn it while you're doing it, and figure it out. Try and prepare as best as you can, but don't use it as an excuse if you feel like you're not ready for whatever reason. At the end of the day, if you think you can do something, you probably can, and you just have to start. I would say that if you haven't traveled much, definitely take the opportunity to do it, but also don't think that it's what it seems like on Instagram, because people they post the highlights, but it can be a struggle sometimes. But that's also kind of part of what makes it such a good experience, because if you're somewhere where you don't know people and you don't know the culture, not that I've really traveled much outside of Canada, which is something that I would like to do more of in a few places, but when your surroundings are different, you have to adapt and it can be a lot of hard work sometimes, and it's not always like the easiest thing to do, but I think doing challenging things is really the only thing that can make you grow as a person. If you follow me, or if you go to my Instagram page, Windjack Studios, there's a link tree there where you can find all of my platforms. I've got some stuff on Spotify, I've got a Patreon, I've got my website there, and get in touch if you want to work on a project together. If you're a musician who likes the idea of recording in a mobile studio, like, send me a message, let me know where you would like to record, what you would like to record, and we'll make it happen.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend. Also, if you want to watch more alternative dwellings, we got a playlist popping up right here, and we release new episodes every single Sunday, so consider subscribing.